And an angry Jurgen Klopp share the points at London Stadium as we take a look at the match stats. Pretty clear Liverpool the stronger of the two sides, but it is at the end of the day a draw. And here's what it means for the top half of the Premier League. Liverpool's lead then just 3 points over Manchester City. They'll visit Everton later this week, so could actually have a tie atop the table by Wednesday night. All right, Stevie, let's dive in on this Liverpool performance. Where do you want to start?
It's funny you should talk about the possession stats. You know, we're always complaining that having possession is one thing and creating is another. And Liverpool created absolutely nothing in this game. The goal they got was offside. The chance Origi had at the end was offside. And in between those, absolutely nothing. In fact, West Ham, for as little as the possession they had a couple of chances where they might have done better, particularly Chicharito. So this was completely underwhelming for Liverpool. And I'm starting to get a little worried. You know, they were average at best when they beat Crystal Palace at home. Mm-hmm. They were average again against Leicester at home. And they were even... Well, if I was to say they were average in this game, I would be being kind. So I'm getting a little worried. They are turning into the team who 18 months ago couldn't beat the teams that they had to, but beat the teams that were supposedly the big games. I'm kind of feeling like that now. I'm not worried now about the big games. These are the types of games that I'm beginning to worry about Liverpool.
After Liverpool dropped points against Leicester last week, you surprised we didn't see a reaction today?
Yes, because we you know, for those that... We talked about it yesterday, you know, Manchester City, bad result at St James's Park. OK, it's against one of the bigger teams, but a reaction. And I was expecting that from Liverpool, particularly against a West Ham team that lost the last 3 games, 2 in the league, one in the FA Cup. You can look at the injuries, you know, need to get Trent Alexander-Arnold back. Joe Gomez is a huge blow because Matip doesn't look comfortable there. I know Lovren's out as well. You got Henderson out. Wijnaldum's an even bigger blow. But then I start to worry about Naby Keita, who came in he signed early. They knew 6 months before he was coming in, and the excitement levels around him were quite high. Hasn't always had a chance, but just doesn't look as if he's going to produce the form that he did in Germany. And then you've got to look at Jurgen Klopp. OK, Monday morning quarterback, but you know Shaqiri's been quite a good signing from whether he started or coming off the bench, and he doesn't play because of Adam Lallana, and that for me just didn't work either. And I just think Liverpool don't have the spring in the step that they had in December, because December they were wiping everybody out. They just don't have that at the moment.
Stevie, is there we just went kind of through the list of Liverpool injuries. Is there a bigger one than Joe Gomez? I mean, we see the James Milner at right back. How long is that sustainable for?
I think Milner has shown that he can play full-back. Yeah, I think definitely the partner for Van Dijk is a problem. I mean, Joe Matip, since he's come back from his injury, has looked like Bambi on ice. You know, you could say against Leicester at home when it was snowing, he looked a little heavy-footed. But, I mean, again, in this West Ham game, he just looks as though he's not up to it. So, from a defensive point of view, Liverpool have gone with the so-called back 4, back 5 that we know, to a team that now looks a little vulnerable defensively. And of course, you add with the lack of pace and creativity going forward. That's a horrible combination.
Go ahead. No, I think we're not giving West Ham and Malo Pellegrini enough credit here. They have been very organised defensively, and it showed. Where West Ham have kind of let themselves down is I don't think there's any real punch up front and relying on Felipe Anderson an awful lot. At the same time, though, when Liverpool give up the kind of set-piece opportunities that they did to West Ham, that would send alarm bells ringing for me. No real creativity or punch through midfield, which you mentioned, to really threaten West Ham. But then you start to look at the injuries, start to wonder about players coming back. Can Liverpool arrest this against teams who are willing to sit in when a couple of players don't show up?
I think the most worrying thing is what Craig was on about when he said there's no pep in the step. You know, when we think of Liverpool, you think of going at teams with pace and power and quick feet in and around the box, little 1-2s, you know, runs in behind. That's what I think of when I think of this Liverpool team at the best. That has completely disappeared. I can't remember the last time I saw it.
And just briefly, Klopp's now looking at we saw the little clip at the end. He's talking to referees. He's last week it was the Leicester game, and he had a point in the Leicester game last week at home because they should have had a penalty, and I think most of us believe Maguire should have been sent off. But today there was an absolutely criminal offside decision that went away, and then if Divock Origi had scored at the end, he was offside. Here's where the injury things, it kind of falls down with me a little bit when we talk about injuries, and Shaq mentioned that West Ham, who are a mid-table team at best, have got 9. Right, 9. I was looking earlier, Lanzini, big player, Reed, Yarmolenko, big signing, Jack Wilshere, no surprises out, Samir Nasri, Marko Arnautovic. They've got 9 players out. So I still expect Liverpool, with injuries to, I would say, less key players, to put on a better performance than they did today.
We mentioned we have Mark Ogden outside London Stadium. Let's bring him in now. Was it as lifeless a performance live from Liverpool as it looked on television, Mark?
I would say it was lifeless. I do think they missed a spark. They looked leggy again. I think against Leicester last week they looked a little bit leggy. It was a tough game. The conditions weren't great against Leicester, and it seems to have had a bit of a hangover. But I don't know. I just think it's all parts of the team. You look at the front three of the only guys that have scored in 2019, apparently, the three, Mane, Firmino and Salah, but they lacked a little bit of invention too. And I think at times when the injuries are beginning to bite and the team is lacking the big players, why they let Klein go to Bournemouth, I don't know. But Milner at right back means you're taking out in midfield. They really missed the Henderson and Wijnaldum energy and game management in midfield. But when it's like that, I think the likes of Salah, Firmino and Mane have to step up a little bit more. Certainly Salah. I think Salah recently has gone off the boil a little bit, and I think this is when they need to step up again. Aguero's doing it for City. Big players rise when the challenge is there, and Salah needs to step up a little bit now.